What's up, everybody? I'm killing it today. Welcome to another Naked Face Walk. I'm Candace Harper, Love Coach. Just finished my first round of stairs, and I'm feeling inspired. So today, I want to talk about. I went out with some friends last night, and we got into this whole conversation about they work in the beauty industry. So we got into this whole conversation about fake things, like fake hair, fake teeth. Plastic surgery, fake butts, fake boobs, all that stuff that a lot of people do. And no judgment, different people telling their little stories and stuff like that. But it got me to thinking about, because somebody mentioned that movie, and I might be dating myself, but that movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, which came out, I want to say in the 80s. And there's a part of it where this guy, the main character in the movie, he meets this woman and she's so beautiful, and he takes her home and she takes off her hair and she's bald. She takes off her chicken cutlets, in her bra, so she has no boobs. She takes off her butt because she has on Spanx with a butt built in or something like that. And then she takes off a leg and an arm, and it just gets ridiculous. It gets to the point where she just clearly does not look like the woman that he met. Now, I got absolutely no judgments. I like to wear hair. I'm somebody who, I do these naked face walks, but normally if you see me, I like to glam up. I like to put on makeup. I've never had plastic surgery, but I got no judgments against it. People need to do it or want to do it. It feels like it makes them feel better. Do your thing. I'm all for it. But what it made me start thinking about is how do you reveal when you meet somebody new, when you start dating someone new? How do you reveal not just your external stuff, like what you physically look like, but the shit in your life? And we all have shit in our life. Debt, STIs, dysfunctional family, dysfunctional, ourselves sometimes, sometimes mental issues, illnesses, physical illnesses, which I guess is, can be lumped with mental issues too. We all have stuff, right? And you can't lead with that stuff and think that someone's going to necessarily see who you really are. And even though I'm not a tips and tricks coach, as a matter of fact, I'm anti-tips and tricks, because I think that everybody's individual life and situation is different. And the way we meet the people that are good for us or that work for us, it's individual. It really depends on a lot of factors. But I will say this. I do think that there is a sequence for how you allow people to get to know you and what you share about yourself. I definitely, number one, don't think it's good to lead with what you consider the negative things in your life. Not because you need to hide them or pretend they don't exist, but when we lead with them, it's almost like we're claiming them as our identity. You can have debt, but that doesn't mean you are debt. You could be working on your debt. It could be something from the past that you're working on, but if you're claiming it as part of who you are, then you're basically telling the other person that this is a huge part of who I am. You can have an STI, but that doesn't mean that, that's what formed you, and that's what, sometimes people get them, and it doesn't mean that they were a bad person, or, it doesn't mean anything bad about them necessarily, and it doesn't mean that it affects who they are as a human being and how they show up as a human being. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it can, but when you lead with it, not only does it scare people who don't want to get one, but it also sets you up to sort of be presenting yourself as, STI person. Which, I don't think that you should, if you're going to have sex with someone, that's one thing. I definitely think you got to tell the truth, and you got to be open about, what is the truth. But if you're just getting to know someone, or if you're filling out, a dating app profile or something like that, that's not something you have to lead with, because that's not part of who you are. It's part of something that you've been challenged by, or something that's come up in your life. What's another? When it comes to the fake stuff, if you've had plastic surgery, if you've had fake boobs, fake butt, some of that stuff's obvious anyway, but if it's not so obvious, if you're wearing fake hair, all of that stuff, obviously that stuff is not necessarily as serious as debt or sickness or anything like that, but you don't have to lead with that stuff. It's not who you are, it's just a part of your life, a part of your experience. So, what is a good sequence? I always say, and it's just like the same sequence I use when I talk about purpose: passion, talents, and challenges. I believe the combination of those things are how we discover our purpose, but it's also how we can effectively share ourselves if we use that sequence, so that people can get to know us first as a human being, and then have develop some sort of understanding about what our experience as a human being has been. And I can definitely say that everyone has had the human experience. So yours might be one thing and theirs is going to be another thing. So, and if they're going to judge you for it, then that's not someone you want in your life anyway, right? So you lead with your passions. What do you care about? What's important to you? What are you up to in the world? What, lights you up? What turns you on? Not necessarily sexually, but what really gets you up in the morning and gets you motivated? And what do you want to do to make a difference? What's your legacy of life? Like, those are the kind of things that are your human, at your core values, what's important to you. That's the stuff that's really important about getting to know someone. That's number one. It's the highest possible priority. Someone who turns away from you because of those things is definitely not right to be in your life. And it's like the first line of being able to vet whether someone is worthy of being in your life. If you can share what's important to you, what you're passionate about, and someone else can connect with that, then you know that they're worthy to. And by worthy, I mean, just worthy in your life compared to worthy in someone else's life. I don't believe it, to put value on humans like that. But number one is your passions. Share what you're passionate about. Share what's important to you. Number two, your talents. What you're good at, the things that you do great, like whether it's that you express them, show them, in some way, or, whatever that is. Like, share what you're talented at, what you feel like you're really good at. And maybe mutually, if you're getting to know someone, they'll also do the same, or you'll motivate them and inspire them to do the same. And like those first two things, like that, with that alone, there's already enough connection when you have two people who've shared those things and appreciate those things about each other, that all the challenging stuff, that's something that can be handled and you can team up about. And that also provides, what I call a safe space for being able to share that really vulnerable stuff that you might shame yourself for, the stuff that makes you feel like you're wrong or that something's wrong with you. Like, all of that kind of stuff, I think that, that can be shared after the passions and the talents, because then you already have developed some sort of emotional human connection. Now, here's the caveat. Whatever your challenges might be, and I mentioned some things, whether it be financial debt, like I said, STIs, or past experiences. Maybe you were in an abusive relationship and something irreparable happened to you, or maybe you've been through sexual trauma and abuse, or maybe you've been to jail. Like, all of that kind of stuff that some people might consider deal breakers, if that's the first thing that they knew. That might be the thing that has someone who's already connected to you walk away. They might not be able to handle it. It might be a deal breaker. But like I said, it's all part of the vetting process. If you've developed a human connection with somebody where you understand each other's passions, and you understand each other's talents, you understand who you really are from your core, and you understand that about each other, those challenging things, that's sort of your last bastion of vetting. Because if we can get past the challenging things, if we can not judge each other for those things, then we know that we can develop some sort of relationship here. Sometimes that means the relationship will just turn into a friendship. Sometimes that means, because sometimes people don't want to take on your challenges, and that's okay. It's okay, because there will be people out there who have even worse challenges, or who are willing to take on your challenges. Whether it's that you got, let's say, 4 kids, and you're a single mom or a single dad, and you meet someone, you share who you are, and you connect with them, and you let them know. And I don't think kids are necessarily a negative thing, but everybody doesn't want to take on 4 kids. The person who's right for you is going to see your challenges as something that fits for them, that they fit into. you know, and there's, I mean, you guys, there's endless human challenges. There's endless problems, negativity, things that could be deal breakers when it comes to dating and relationships and all that stuff. Only you know your own individual ones. But it's okay. It's okay to save it until you really get to know someone. We're not talking about casual relationships. Like I said, if you're gonna have sex with someone, you have to let them know you have an STI. It's irresponsible not to. You have to always practice safe sex. If that's all it's about, then no big deal. But if you really want to form a friendship, you really want to form a long-term relationship with someone, even if you want to know someone as a business partner, start with your passion. Start with what's important to you. Then to your talents, you know, what you're really good at. And now I'm not saying all in one conversation. You have to go with whatever is the natural flow of how your relationship is forming. So this doesn't all have to happen in one conversation. The first part of getting to know someone is letting them know what's important to you and what you're up to in the world and who you are as a human being. The other stuff, oh, I actually had one time, there was a friend of mine, beautiful, beautiful girl, who said that her biggest thing was that she had suffered depression, and you know, she felt like a lot of men rejected her based on that. So, oh my gosh, I'm going 11 minutes. I'm too long for the IGTV. So even with that, I told her, I said, depression is not who you are. It's something you've been challenged by. So that's just another one of those things that's one of those challenges. Anyway, that's it. I gotta go. I'm way over. I don't even know if this whole video will fit. Thank you so much. It's been another Naked Face Walk. I love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm Candace Harper, Love Coach. Have a fantastic day.